everyone, it's Sylvia here from Casino Library and welcome to Tangles on Tuesday. In this series, we're going to take you through the process of creating beautiful art pieces known as Zentangle. Hi Tanglers, welcome back to another Tuesday. Grab yourself a cuppa, sit back as we explore two new tangles today, and the first one we're starting with is called Onamato. It's an easy tangle to do, and by varying the size and experimenting with shading, that's how you will change the design of this tangle, get a totally different look. So I'm going to begin by drawing in some curved lines. They can be curved, they can be straight, you could do them in the circle, entirely up to you. And I'm just using my 0.1 today to start. And I'm going to aura them somewhat like polybar lines, the very first tangle that we learnt. The next step with this tangle is to draw circles, large circles that fill in this area working along here. Now the thing I find when I'm drawing circles is I tend to want to watch where my pen's going. But I find if you start at the top and keep your eye focused on that top where you initially start, your pen and your hand will automatically find its way back there. Okay. So there's my first circle, and I'm going to repeat that along this channel here so that they're just touching, and turning your card and making sure your pen's comfortable, your hand's comfortable for where you're wanting to draw. Starting at the top, take your time. They're going to just touch each other. All right. So we're going to keep doing that along here. Nice, simple, easy tangle. And said it'll be in the shading and the varying, the initial lines that we draw in that we're going to follow. All right. So there's my first part done. As you can see, they're not all uniform in size. They don't have to be. And it's what works for you. We're not looking at the end or finished product. We're just concentrating on the process that we have going here with our Zentangle. The next step is these two lines here that we originally drew in. We're now going to pop circles inside of those as well. So those circles are going to be quite small. Think of it as drawing circles inside polybar tangle. All right. So I've just done a few there to start, and again they will touch each other, keeping them round and just focusing on filling the space here and here with those circles. And keep turning, always keep turning your card so that everything is comfortable for you. Just watching the top. So start drawing, let your eye stay at the top where your pen first starts. So keeping your eye here, and you'll find that your hand and your pen will automatically come back to that spot where you first started your circle. So work your way along. Take your time, it's not a race. And just fill in. Okay, so I've filled in that one there. And I would do the same along here. So this is how the tangle looks when you've done that in both those small areas there. So adding in your circles along those two lines. And the next step is simply in between, or top and bottom, where we have that space between our circles. We're going to draw a little circle in there as well. Just coming in and drawing a circle that just fills up that space for us. So I've popped one in here and one in here, and I'll keep doing that in each of those spaces. So the gaps between the main circles there, we're going to add a smaller circle in that, for want of a better word, that triangle space, that triangle area. And just taking your time in doing that. Okay, so there we go. That's the basis of Onamato. Now the next thing would be some shading. Now there's lots of different ways we can shade this tangle. One of the things that we could do is we could shade every second of these small dots, or actually fill them in with colour using our 0.4 pen. I might do a little bit of shading on the main circle, so take your soft lead pencil for me and just getting at the right spot. So what I'm going to do is just put a little bit of pencil on one side of those circles, so creating a bit of a shadow. You only need a little bit of pencil and you only need to do it lightly. So you can see where I've just added a very fine pencil line, because now I'm going to take my shading tool, my paper stump, whatever you're using, and I'm going to blend that, and as it blends it's going to push that shading in the direction that I am working with my shading tool, my paper stump. And it's just gently working that, just lightly. The blending just softens that, gives a really nice. So you can see now that with that bit of shading, that's really brought that up, brought that to life. You could choose to shade along the bottom of those circles. You could do the top, you could do both sides. It really is just a matter of personal preference and what you like. Now to take that tangle one step further, I'll show you a couple of different things we could do with it. We could add another set of, we'll call them holly bar, add in another holly bar here and add my larger circles in this space here and my smaller circles through here, and that would just extend or expand that tangle. That little bit further. So our large circles. And this tangle can be used to fill an entire or a larger space. You can use it in a small space. You certainly do not have to fill all the white space on your card or your tile. Don't be afraid to leave some white space. Okay, so you can see what I've done there. I've just added those large circles through that channel area, and then this holly bar, my small circles. So they will come along and fill that in. So they will continue all along there, and the small gaps at the top and the bottom of the main circles, remembering to come back and just do a circle within that space as well. And that is one of the ways that you can vary this particular tangle. So like I said, it's not difficult tangle to do, but it's just effective in the way that we shade it, or in the way that we choose to expand it, or we could just use it with that first section like I did. It would make a nice border, or it would make a nice line weaving through the centre of one of our Zentangle pieces. I could, if I wanted to, just to give you some more ideas, is think of that as a holly bar. So I'm going to draw in another set of lines, making sure that when I come to here where I meet the existing tangle that I stop. Imagine that line traveling underneath that part of the tangle and pick up on the other side and continue through, because our tangles don't cross over each other, so to speak. So I'll do another set. You can do them narrow, you can do them quite curved. Like I said, you could do it as a circle. It's just whatever flows for you. So you can see I've got another set ready. So in this channel area, we're going to do our large circles. And I'm going to turn that because it's not quite right for me. Doing your circles, your large circles. It's quite effective, so it's like they're weaving under each other, passing through, passing through. All right. So you can see the effect we've got happening here in our holly bar. Let's do our small circles. We'll at least get them started so you can see what that's going to look like. And then remembering to do those circles, the top and bottom of your main circles, where those triangular areas are. Popping a circle in there as well. May only be small, but you will see the difference between popping one in and not popping one in. And I'll just continue that just for a little bit, so you can get an idea of the effect. I really like this because it is simple, but so effective. Those circles in the areas in that space, top and bottom of your mane. Look at that, it looks fantastic. Reminds me a little bit of cobblestone or something historic. So that would continue through to here and here, and my circles in here. So let's do, I'll do a little bit different shading just to give you some more ideas and some more options. So if I was just to shade on the bottoms of those circles, what would that look like? Take your blending tool, just gently smooth it, move it around, push it around on your paper. Surprising how far you can push it, for want of a better word, and bring that shading into the areas that you wanted. And it's not pressing hard, it's just gentle. So there you are. This time I've shaded the bottom of those circles, whereas this one I was shading the side. This one I've shaded the bottoms. So that is Onamato. Such a great tangle. Now the second tangle I'm going to show you today is called Pokeleaf, and this is another original tangle by Rick and Maria. Start by drawing a little bit of a stem. Just like that. And at the top of that stem, I'm going to draw what I call a bit of a sad face, that kind of effect. Now, the next part of the tangle is making a leaf shape, or you may think of it as a heart shape. And I actually find it easiest for myself to actually have my card upside down and drawing this way with it. So what we're actually doing is just starting somewhere on that stem and coming around up into a point like this, and the same on the other side. Again, simple enough tangle to do, but the variations are endless. The shading, many opportunities and varying the size of each leaf gives lots of endless possibilities as well. The reason I do that little, what I call sad face here, is I like the way it gives the impression of the stem actually pushing up into the leaf. Now you can continue these in several ways. The next, and it's just a matter of repeating that tangle. So the next one, I might have a stem coming out from the side. So something like that. And then adding in, drawing in my leaf. So coming up, think of it as a teardrop or a heart shape. And they continue, and you fill up your space as much or as little as you'd like to. Just keep adding your leaves. If you can't fit in a whole leaf somewhere, just add it on behind another. If you run into the edge of your tile or part of another pokeleaf tangle, just stop and start like we do with holly bar. Imagine where that would travel. So you can see there I've come to the edge of my working tile, practice tile. So I've just stopped to give the effect of that going off the page. And you just keep drawing these in randomly, wherever you would like them to form. You can do it as a chain. Just have a chain of them working around a border if you wanted to. And then, so I've got one coming off here. I could, if I wanted to, extend that stem so it's coming down through here, but I think it would be just make that stem just too long. So let's pop in the leaf part of that tangle. So you've got that happening. I'm going to add in one more because I like odd numbers. I feel that they give better balance. So I've brought my stem off to the side because I want to work my leaf over in here. Little sad face, so to speak. Add in your leaf shape. And there you go. Pokeleaf is as simple as that. But there are lots of ways we can vary it. It's a really, really fun tangle. You can use it as a background, so you could have it quite heavy, lots of leaves filling in that space. You could leave it just like that and have another tangle around it. You could do an aura around it, which looks really effective. So let's see what that would look like. So that aura would be through your stem and your leaf area. And I'm going to do it as one, as best I can, one aura around that entire tangle just to bring it together. Keeping it roughly the same distance all the way around, the same distance from your original tangle if you can. If not, doesn't matter. So you can see where I've started to work that aura. I've come up here and I've stopped where my tangle stops, coming back down and around, up around here, and I'm going to continue that all the way back to here. Just taking your time with that. Now you don't have to do the aura, but it just, again, is another way you can take that tangle just that one step further if you wish. Now it's going to be a little bit tricky for me to take my pen down into this area and come back up. So I'm not going to, I'm going to stop here and come up around this next section, this next leaf. And you know what? Because there's no right and wrong, I can do that. I can do whatever I like with my tangle. So can you. Always keep that in mind. Okay, so there you go. We've added an aura to that and it's changed it completely. Lots of fun. We could add a little bit of shading to that if we like, so a couple of different ways. The simplest way is just to add a little bit of shading on the underside of where the stalk meets the leaf. So where we did that little sad face. So just popping in a tiny bit of pencil, just very light pencil under each of those pen marks, and then just shading it around. You can shade it down as well if you want to, just pushing it around to what suits you, what you like, and that just gives you some depth and definition. Again, you don't have to shade, but don't be afraid to play with that either, because you'll just see just a little bit of more depth to that there. So what are some of the ways we could vary this poke leaf? Let's just have a quick look. So still doing your stem. I'll take a new practice tile. Still drawing in your stem as we did originally. Give it that little sad face. But I think I want to add a little bit of whimsy to this poke leaf. So I'm going to, during the leaf section, I'm just going to do something really long and really elongated. And I'm going to add a bit of a curl to the top of it. Just something really, really different. Just playing. That's all it is, just playing. We could do all sorts of shapes. It's up to you, just wherever that tends to take you when you're drawing. Something else we could do shape-wise would be just pop in my stem, and I could, let's see, turn it around. Just think of some of the leaves and things that you see in nature, what they might look like, and just, I don't know, just play, just don't be afraid to play. So there's another variation there, totally different. Or you could simply do something that's, bring up your stem, your sad face. You really could do something that's more a bit of a pear shape, something like that. But play, add some whimsy into that. It's a great one to be able to do that with. Okay, so that's your poke leaf. There is another variation of that one, which I'll show you quickly, and it's called poke root. And with that, you're doing the same stem to start. So it's the same technique, just doing your stem, give it a curve, why not? Give it a little bit of a sad face. But this time, instead of the leaf shape, it's more of a circle or a ball shape that you're creating. So it looks like that. It looks like a cherry perhaps. And again, we can add a bit of whimsy to it. Pop in a few little, just a couple of circles. Maybe it's a mushroom, I have no idea. It's up to you. It is your tangle, and just adding in more of them as you feel. So doing it the same way we did our poke leaf, just keep adding them to that space that you're working in. A bit hard upside down. And don't be afraid to play. Don't be afraid to move away from straight lines and do curved lines. Okay, so you have poke leaf and some variations, a bit of whimsy, and we have poke root, which is the same. You have your leaf shape here. This one tends to be more of a circle, and just keep weaving them, intertwining them, whatever you like to do to give that some interest. And again, we can shade it. We could shade it underneath this section here. Do that to show you. So adding in that bit of depth. We could shade it on the side here. So just blending that like so. Or if you wanted to, add a bit of shading to your stem. See what that looks like. Just work with whatever comes to mind for shading your stem. So that there for you is poke root, and this one is poke leaf. So last week we learnt the two tangles, flux and print temps. And with your challenge tile, I suggested you practice those two tangles and then incorporate any others of your choice. So this is my challenge tile that I've come up with. I have my flux, which I started off following some of the strings and then it just kind of went its own way. I have my print temps, which was just a small area here, and then I decided to extend them down into this tangle here, which is rain. And it just needed something, or I felt I wanted to put something into the background. I could have very well have left it blank, but I thought floors might be a nice one to bring into the background because these little highlights here, these little diamonds that we filled in, just kind of balanced out this bit of dark and light, and a bit of dark and light, just to give it a bit of balance, but also just to ground that entire tile. I felt like it was just floating and it just needed something just to ground it, and those points kind of just bring it all together and finish it off for me. So I would love to see what you came up with your tile. Please feel free to upload your tile in the comments below. So this week's challenge tile with the string, very simple. Just a loop. That's all I've done for my string. And I'd love to see you practicing your Onamato and your poke leaf and also your poke root if you wish to. But definitely give that Onamato a try. And I would suggest maybe doubling up that string, so do an aura of it and use that as a guide, and think about doing your Onamato following the lines that I have there. That's what I'm going to try, so a little bit of a heads up for you. So look forward to seeing your creations when we get together again next week.
In the comments below, you'll find a link to the practice sheet that I've been using here today. You'll also find a link to this week's challenge tile. If you're unable to access these from your computer at home, we'll make some packs available. All you have to do is give us a call on 666 00 250 and give us a day or two to get those ready for you. That pack will also include some pre-cut 3.5 by 3.5 inch tiles to get you started. We also have a Hobbies and Crafts Reference Centre, which is a part of our e-resources that are available on our library website. And remember, if you'd like to receive instant updates when new content is added to our YouTube channel, please click the subscribe button. Thanks for joining us here today, and we'll see you next week for another Tangles on Tuesday.